What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Got the latest and the greatest news in regards to the Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury undisputed heavyweight matchup. There have been ongoing negotiations for the better part of 10 months as they agreed to 50-50 in 2020, in the middle part of 2020 to be exact. And now we are in the early part of 2021, and still the fight has not been finalized. Now, Tyson Fury's promoter and Queensberry Promotions CEO, Frank Warren, did an interview with Talk Sports, and he revealed some interesting things in regards to this potential matchup. He says it all comes down to the site and the venue if this fight's going to take place in June. He says he don't want to get up here and do interviews and say the fight's done and, both parties have agreed when that's not the case. Both parties have agreed to the 50-50, but they haven't agreed to the site and the venue. And if the site deal is not enough to satisfy both parties, then the fight will not take place in June. That's basically what the promoter said. He said it might boil down to both fighters might have to take significantly less money from that site deal for the fight to go down if they want the fight to be for undisputed. Now, they can wait till later on this year and possibly get more money, but it won't be for undisputed. That's the dilemma as far as why this fight is not signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. It's not delivered. It's not signed yet because you got a lot of obstacles that's preventing this fight from getting done. Now, I was going back and forth on in the comment section with a guy, I can't remember the guy's name, and I was trying to tell the guy, say, look, if they think they're going to get $150 million or $200 million site fee like they probably would have got before this pandemic, and they think they're going to get that, they're sadly mistaken. They're in for a rude awakening, if that's the case. Now, if they're willing to take maybe a $50 million site fee or maybe $75 million site fee, if we're being optimistic, then they can get the deal done. But would they be willing to leave approximately $75 million to even $125 million on the table if they wait to the end of 2021 when, we got these vaccines, everybody's taking them, and, hopefully we'll be in a better place than we are right now. But that's not nothing that's very concrete because we got these variants of pandemics, the variants of coronavirus that are spreading. And they're saying the vaccine might last for 6 months, but this thing might be like a flu where you're going to have to take it just like the flu when flu season comes to prevent you from possibly getting it again. So all this stuff is up in the air right now as far as the coronavirus. And that's what's leading to the obstacles of this fight getting finalized. So that's what's going to boil down to. I said it in a previous interview. I said, look, wouldn't be a bit surprised if this fight gets scrapped right now. Don't go down in June. Anthony Joshua defends his belts against WBO #1 mandatory contender Alexander Usyk. That's why his fight has not been finalized, as he's supposed to be fighting another guy that's under the stable, under the promotions of Frank Warren, Joe Joyce. That fight was supposed to be on the horizon. They have not got no deal done because Usyk is waiting and saying, look, I'm not finna sign to fight this guy for an interim belt if Anthony Joshua's not going to fight Fury. I can just fight for all the belts. So that's why that fight is getting sidelined. And would be a bit surprised on Tyson Fury end that he fights the third fight with Deontay Wilder, which it was supposed to go down in October. That's what the contract stated. It went past that deadline due to unforeseen circumstances as far as the pandemic and what the TV networks were willing to put on a certain date, and they didn't want to wait till February, as Tyson Fury said he had to get in the ring before that time, and he actually ain't got in the ring since that time. He's sitting here waiting, going on way past February. Here we is in April, and he still hasn't fought again. So he could have easily waited till February when they had a date set up for both that would satisfy both Fox and ESPN, and he could have got that fight with Deontay Wilder, the third fight, out the way. Now he's sitting here, with over a year of inactivity, and he's sitting there upset and saying that he wants to fight, and then the ESPN has promised him 2 fights for 2021, and he sounds like a frustrated fighter, which this stuff could have been avoided if he would just went on Fight Wild. I think that's going to be the likely outcome anyway. It's going to be later than it was, what it could have been in February. Maybe they fight sometime in June. One thing I know about Eddie Hearn is Anthony Joshua going to fight somebody in June. I know for a fact that he got a date set up for Anthony Joshua's next fight. Whether it be Tyson Fury, that's the fight they prefer, that's the fight they want. But if he don't get to fight with Tyson Fury, they got a date in mind for Anthony Joshua to fight in June, whether it be Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk. Those wheels are already in motion. He is that cash cow. He is the #1 fighter in Matchroom Boxing. They have a schedule for him, and they playing way in advance when is his next date. They already working on venues and stuff like that. Don't think they don't have a backup venue if they don't get the site fee done with Tyson Fury. Maybe they take the smaller site fee to fight Alexander Usyk over in the Middle East, or maybe they go back to the UK and fight Alexander Usyk in London. Maybe Wembley Stadium, as the restrictions for the COVID-19 will be lifted by the summer, early spring of 2021. So we will see what happens. We will see what transpires. But that's the latest and greatest in the news in regard to Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. It's far from a done deal. Don't let Eddie Hearn fool you, doing all these interviews basically saying it's a done deal and we will have agreement done next week. That's being extremely optimistic. You know, and it's going to boil down to, will both fighters take significantly less? Yeah, the fight can get done next week if they take $75 million to $125 million pay cut. If they're willing to do that, the fight can get done next week. But the problem is the money is not there like it would have been before this pandemic. This pandemic has got everybody, not willing to put up the money because they're not sure about what kind of crowd size they're going to have at this event. Will it be 25%? Will it be 50%? Will it be 75%? Or will it be 100%? That's why I did in another video. I was like, why don't they take this fight to the U.S., United States of America? People are like, oh, you crazy. 2 UK guys fighting in the United States? Well, Texas is wide open. They can get 100% capacity. Canelo Alvarez is fighting Billy Joe Saunders on May 8th at AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. They're expecting 70,000 people in attendance for that fight. You put Wilder over there with, you put Fury over there with Joshua, and depending on what they'll be able to allow UK fans to fly over, you might be able to get at least half of that in attendance for that fight. 35,000, maybe somewhere between 35 and 50,000 if you allow fans to fly over. That's the only caveat for that fight, maybe not having as large a crowd as it could have if they allow fans to fly over from the UK. Or you can have that fight in Miami, Florida, where Canelo last fought Avenue Uterman at the Miami Dolphins football stadium. You could put that fight over there. That's a shorter flight coming over there from the UK if they allow fans to fly over from the UK. And you can have possibly 40 to 50,000 fans in attendance for that fight. That's a pretty good gate. And then you can make your other money off the pay-per-view and the sponsorship. So those are a couple of things you can look at, but they seem to be keen on having a fight in the Middle East, as I don't think AJ is too keen on coming here to the United States to fight anyway, because his last time he was seen in the ring in the United States, which was his first time fighting in the USA, he wet the bed, got beat from pillar to post by the Pillsbury Doughboy known as Andy Ruiz. Let me know your thoughts about this fight getting done. Do you think it's going to get done? And do you think both fighters should take significantly less for the fight to get done? Or do you think they should wait and possibly not fight for Undisputed later on this year for more money? Let me know your thoughts and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. Holla.